What's going on, everyone? Forex Fargo checking in. This is your Forex Fargo weekly webinar from November 8th, 2020 through November 13th, 2020. This is actually the week after the elections. All right. Come catch some pips with me. Pretty much before we get started, like I said, overall, I am an intraday swing trader. So, the positions that I'm looking for are pretty much around 50 to 75 pips or so. Usually I try to get my, take my profits around there, as well as the fact that, I'll move my stop loss, whether it be, break even or be a, stop loss, with profit. Right. But anyways, last week we noticed that there were some super fucking impulsive moves with the election. However, it's not that the election, it's not that it was super impulsive, right? What had happened is, Price had been collecting orders for, a few weeks with the anticipation that there was going to be great volatility in the market last week. And that is exactly what had happened, right? So what I'll be going over briefly is just, a few of the pairs, that I went over last week in terms of, the free Forex Fargo webinar. Then I'll be going over what I expect from a few pairs. One thing I also do notice is that trend does like to, be set the first week, right? So if a lot of people struggle with catching, larger amount of pips in larger positions, not larger positions, just, a larger scale of pips, during one position, because they're just forgetting to look at from the macro, right? So you're forgetting the market monthly levels, forgetting the market weekly levels and stuff. You'll have your dailies and you have your 4-hour levels marked, right? But you won't really understand. So pretty much what people do is, when you start the beginning of the week, you can pretty much determine how the week is going to go, mostly, if you're able to see, like the first, Monday, Tuesday, a daily candle close. I'll go over all of this stuff, right? But regardless of that, I'm expecting some type of retracement on many of these pairs before continuing the overall trend, which was set on the higher time frame. Trade ideas with entries and no TP levels, but the pairs analyzed, it's kind of going to be the same ones as last week. AU, NU, AJ, EU, GU, EU, EA, GA, GJ, and gold, right? So without further ado, let's just go over a couple of the pairs that, we were looking at last week, right? So last week, we were looking at this AU. AU, we can see that, we actually broke through this from a weekly time frame, just understanding what had happened. This is why a lot of you guys fail. I actually had spoke about this last week, the fact that when price was floating around down here, that we were going to have a nice W formation. Didn't really expect it to push all the way back up to our 2019 highs, which I had previously marked. But at the end of the day, literally this weekly candle mirrored this weekly candle that we see right here, right? So when you open up to the higher time frame, you actually do yourself a bigger service as opposed to a disservice by, not understanding what's going on. Now, because we have these levels marked from a daily and a weekly and a monthly time frame, right? Now what we're noticing is that price is approaching, our supplies in our supply zone, our previous, monthly or weekly resistance level, which has been held since September, right? So that's 2 months ago. All right. So pretty much what I am anticipating on this pair, price will go either one of two things. I'm going to draw my little eclipse right here. We're going to go down to a 4-hour time frame. All right, so I'm looking to see if we're going to have some rejections, right? Looking like we're having some rejections. But however, this price could go one or two ways, right? So, you could have something like that, right? Oops. Sorry, here we go. You could have a break and a retest of this level, or we can have a break and a retest of this level right here, right? And I'd actually once again be anticipating the fact that I would be looking to see if I could catch a short position. Now, once again, the reason why I'm looking for a short position, now let's build confluence for a little bit, right? I don't necessarily go over this because I've been trading and, it's kind of not pointless to me, but I understand what it is that, I'm potentially looking at. if I'm going to go back to the higher time frame, right? A lot of people like to use, you know, their Fibonacci. So if you were to draw a fib off of just this weekly candle from, you know, body open to body close, my trading is not, it's not hard. I'm not always right. But when I'm right, you guys see that I'm fucking catching, I'm having great weeks, right? So, you know, open to close, right? We can see that now once we go to a 4-hour time frame, and I don't really like the fibs, right? But where I have these levels marked at is that price could, you know, retrace to this 38 level, could retrace back to this weekly resistance level, could retrace back to the 50 level. I don't really like using that shit. What I like using, right, is these daily levels, right? So understanding that right here we have this weekly resistance. This is now obviously going to be weekly support. So we can change this to our weekly support level. Right now that we have this at our weekly support level, understanding that yes, we are anticipating a short position. However, in order for this to be valid, what we're looking for some more exhaustion, right? So if we could get a, you know, pull back all the way back up to, you know, 72, what was the previous high? A 72, 840 or 850-ish or something like that. If we get another push back up to there and price, you know, fails to break down, then yes, I would probably enter a short position. However, understanding that the larger scale, what we are to be looking for and not to confuse is that the price is still bullish overall, right? So unless we have a weekly candle closure, you know, below this right here, this previous weekly low, you know, price is still going to be bullish. You could literally have a pullback. You could have a pullback from this zone all the way back to this level of 275 pips, right? Essentially, if this price, if this level is not broken, and what I mean by that, let me get the drawn thing, right? So if we pull back and, you know, we just respect this level, unless we have a daily candle close and like a retest like that, you know, this level is still going to be held overall as our demand zone, as our weekly support level, whatever it is that you want to, right? So essentially, this is what I'm looking for on AU. Just monitoring price action. Obviously, like I said, we're anticipating the, you know, the higher time frame and, you know, the bullish move overall. So this would be a counter trend. This week, what I'm anticipating is this week is going to be a lot of counter trends, right? Moving on to AJ real quick. All right, so AJ, if we look at this from a weekly time frame, right? Let me just get rid of some of these, minimize these. Oops. Get that shit out the way. All right, so from AJ, you know, my zone probably wasn't drawn at the best, but if you can see right here, you know, price literally just retested this level at 73. This was a level back in June, so this is like a Q2 level. I don't need to look at it. I just understand how the quarters work. So same thing that you were seeing on AU. What you're noticing is that you're noticing a similar, literally a similar W pattern. Now this W pattern is, actually, I wouldn't even call it a W pattern. You know, you're just seeing that price is respected in this level that was held from June, right? Now, since we are actually have a close above this level right here, my zone, I'm moving down to a daily time frame, right? I'm actually still waiting for price. So I'd wait for price to come back to this zone if I could before entering again. Once again, you know, just looking at this, price is just respecting some, you know, some daily levels, looking for price to, you know, retrace a little bit. Once again, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong at the end of the day, though, you know, like I'm not worried about it. You know, what you could do as well, right? So you see how I have these lines marked? These lines that I have marked are not necessarily, you know, anything particular. They're just 4-hour levels. Sometimes they're daily levels and stuff like that. They just help me. Run down on the chart and get an idea of what I'm looking at. But what really benefits me is actually, you know, understanding what could potentially happen, right? So from here, from this level where I have this zone, I already have this arrow marked that once we got to this zone right here, you know, I was anticipating buys. Now, this is a trade that I literally had probably tried to enter back in October, got stopped out, probably took a loss on it. You know, now I'm following up with it, that the trend has already been set in the first week of November. So, you know, I'm trying to see if I can catch this trade on a retracement, right? So that would be my forecast on AJ. EU, right? EU is actually a fucking great trade from last week. So just looking at this, um, price did what it is that we expected it to, right? So from, my buy entry right here, so I probably got stopped out first, but I entered somewhere around this 1.65, 1.16500 level, entered around here. From a daily time frame, you can kind of see what happened. And I understand this was Monday, this was Tuesday, the election, right? So around like 6 or 7 p.m., price pushed up, and then literally during Asian session, price fucking wicked all the way back down to these levels, and then from there. So one daily candle on election was about 165 pips, but from the level where I have marked from my entry, that's literally 183 pips, 85 pips. I was able to capitalize on like 100 or something, but it ran all the way up to 220 something pips. Now looking at this, looking left, we can see that now if we were to draw a zone right here, right, if you want to, right here, you can draw a little zone, right? So now what we have right here is prices respecting this level from September 15th now, right? So now we have one. So now we have one rejection, two rejections, and what we're looking for, we're looking to see how these daily candles are going to close on this, right? Now, if we happen to, have a daily candle close above this zone, we'll probably look for a retracement back. So daily candle close, above that, and then look for retracement back, and then to the upside. However, like I said, the reason why I'm not anticipating a lot of these, I'll go over that in a second. We'll take a look at the dollar index at the end of this, right? So daily, 4 hour time frame, you can see, this is pretty much an inverted, wouldn't say an inverted hammer and shit, but this is like, a doji. You can see that there's price getting exhausted. This was the open and close, then open and then close, right? So prices closing within the zone on a 4 hour time frame. We're gonna go ahead and move this over a little bit. We'll do this. And shout out to everyone that, understands that trading is fucking easy. You just have to have the patience, right? So what we'll do is we'll change this to our weekly support level. Weekly support. I'm blind, obviously. You can see I wear glasses. So we'll do this to weekly support. I also wanted to record this webinar so you guys can see when I take the time to like pause, I'm processing in my head. I realized that maybe the video will help a little bit. All right, so moving on. This is on this is on EU. Just deleting these real quick and just drawing some more arrows, right? So price could do something like this, or we could look for something like that, right? So just paying attention. All right. Same thing like I wanted to do on AJ. Probably looking for something like this. All right. GU from last week was a fucking doozy. Apologies, my dog is going here, right? So anyways, this buy limit that I had, probably got stopped out or whatever like that, but I was able to, capitalize on some great pips. As you can see, pretty much in one daily candle, I think this was Monday, Tuesday, then Wednesday, right? But then Thursday, you literally had Thursday, one daily candle, it moved like 200 fucking pips or whatever like that, right? So now since we see that price right here, so look at this. We can see that we probably completed like a nice W pattern, but now what we're looking at is that price, you can see price right here, prices, catching some exhaustion around this level from a 4 hour time frame. Let's go ahead and see what we're looking at. I prefer to trade double tops, double bottoms, um, looking to see where price is getting exhausted around my levels. This actually looks like a decent trade simply because like you can see, one, price. I don't even like RSI, but I do have this at the bottom and stuff like that. RSI on the 4 hours looking almost exhausted. However, on a daily, looks like we can push a little bit more. And I like looking at the RSI off of the higher time frames. Just works a little bit more. Just looking at this once again, just looking at price action from 4 hour all the way down to 1 hour. Right. And what we'll do is, once again, just looking to see price is probably going to do something like this. This is what I'm looking at on my my GU. Right. Once again, this week, and I will just say this week, when you have huge fucking weeks in the market like that, like last week, banks are waiting. They've been waiting all fucking year for that. You know what I mean? That's why prices move. So with that being said, you need to understand that not every week is going to be as plentiful and as bountiful as the previous one. This is why you take what the market gives you. That $1,000, whatever that I made off that $100. Yes, I actually realized I could have kept these positions open. I could have closed them and re-entered the positions and literally bagged like 2 or 3K more off of that same $100 account, and fucking would have been far God by all means. However, I still needed to stick to my risk management, was more than content, and I was editing a video which fucking took the time away from me to even want to look at the charts. So understanding, you really need to set weekly trading goals, right? So I'll go over this at the end of the webinar, where we'll probably help you. Set a trading goal for the week, for the month, like trading plans. All right. And this is what we're looking at once again on GU. GA, right? So bam, if you guys wanted to, you can actually look at the webinar I posted last week of October, because I was looking at all of these moves, anticipating them. Pretty much now what we're looking at, right? Price right here has closed, below our zone. However, has failed to, kind of close below our October level right here. So if we look at this from a daily level, once again, we got a nice little spinning bottom. Okay, that's cute, right? What we're gonna do now, once again, a lot of these are gonna be counter trend trades, which is what I was looking at, and once again, what I'm anticipating. So just looking for like the premium optimal buys, right? Kind of where like some levels should be left off at. We should probably be able to catch this maybe to 150 to the upside, right? There's no need for us to be greedy about it, right? Being greedy about it is what's not going to happen. All right. So what we're gonna do now, once again, that's on the GA thing. We're anticipating this. One other thing that we're gonna look at EA, right? So EA, like I said, this was another how many pips that? That was 225 pips that happened last week. All right. So now I'm gonna draw my let me see. Let's go to a daily level real quick. Let's go to the daily. Right. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. All right, back real quick. All right, so pretty much what we're gonna do now is from the EA level, we're gonna look at this. So this right here, we're gonna mark this as our this was, what was this, Thursday's close or something like that. Thursdays now we're probably gonna look and see if we can get a retracement back to this daily close level, and then we probably would be able to go to this level. And I'm gonna take this away because it's not daily highs anymore. My fault. All right, 4 hour time frame. Let me just draw this long position. once again, if you're wrong on some of these positions, it's okay. You know, you don't need to be what's it called? You don't need to be chasing the trade. You don't need to be worried about it. And what we're looking at right here, this is only 110 pips, right? Um, More or less to the upside, we'll probably look at this 164, 500 or something like that for 150 pips or so. All right. What else are we looking at? Gold. So this gold trade, once again, I also went over this gold trade the second week, I think like 2 weeks ago on the webinar. I put both links in the bio when I upload this to YouTube. However, this right here, like when you talk about risk reward, you know, I'm not capping. You guys can see the work is in my thing. I may not have caught all of these fucking pips because once again, I understood that last week was very volatile. So I probably caught my 200-300 pips in between these or whatever like that. But you know, just looking at this, this is how many pips is that? 7,000, 8,000, 8,000 fucking pips, right? You know, 8,000 pips. So now what we're looking at is price has stopped off at these September levels right here, this resistance level. We're just looking to see what's going to happen. Once again, looking for some small retracements. So I like this 1920 level right here. But before that, you know, we obviously have this 1930 level. So maybe price would retrace a small amount before continuing back up, right? So I don't know if that would actually be a good trade to kind of look at and take. However, it's something to you know monitor and keep an eye out for. Once again, I'm not always right. You know, I just know that when I enter my trades and when I am wrong and when I do hit, I know what I did wrong. You know, so pretty much have a plan. All right, so we're looking at this. Actually, no, I actually like that a little bit better. I'm not gonna cap. I like that a little bit better. Move that over. Move this down. Move this down. And then maybe at the end of this, I'll thank you guys for being not speaking and you know being unmuted and everything. I appreciate that. Right. So we'll look for something like this. Or this is what I'm looking for, right? Once again, if I could be wrong, so you know, another thing too, I could have had a great week last week. You know, then I have a losing week. That's how life goes. You know what I'm saying? Am I gonna fucking blow my account? Absolutely not. You know what I mean? This is why I show you guys and I tell people, you know, psychology with trading is probably more important than you actually catching the pips because you know I know what it's like to fucking have an account floating $1,500 in profit, fucking go to sleep and then not take any profits and shit like that. No, you know what I mean? I've learned from my mistakes, trust me. I literally have learned from my mistakes and that shit hurts the soul, you know what I mean? Because like as easy as slow as it goes up, you know what I'm saying? It's like twice as fast as it goes down and shit. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's very important to just make sure that you're paying yourself. One thing that I do to prevent myself from, you know, to help myself, not even prevent, to help myself, right? So pretty much when I am trading out of these micro accounts and stuff, what I don't show people on the back end is how many times I'm actually withdrawing profits from, you know, my actual MetaTrader 4 account and then moving them to my internal wallet, right? So, you know, the accounts may have a few $100s in them and stuff like that, right? But if I'm rinsing, washing, and doing the same process repeatedly over and over again and stuff like that, I have found something that worked for me. You know, so I'm starting off at the small scale. So when I do go to the big scale and the larger scale, and you know, when I finally get my FTMO account, you know, funded and stuff like that, I'm doing $5 lot sizes. I did the math last week. Literally, I did the math like earlier to fucking yesterday or something like that. I caught. It doesn't even matter how much I caught. I did 1,000% ROI on the fucking on. Look at this. I did 1,000% ROI on $100 account. All right. Doesn't matter what the account size is, right? The numbers of the return on investment is what's important. So if I did 1,000% on a $100 account, which is $1,000, if I did 1,000% on a fucking $100,000 account, right, that would have been almost $1,000,000 and shit like that, right? I'm not capping. You know, that probably would have been super duper over leverage and shit. Probably would have been $5, $10, $20 lot sizes on the FTMO account. However, you know, you take what the market gives you, and you know, I'm loving my journey and I'm not rushing anything, you know, so I'm appreciative of the fact that my percentage gains be fucking crazy and everything, But not only the fact that they be crazy, you know, when my time does come and when I, you know, feel confident putting my own 10K into an account and shit like that, I'll be okay. You know what I mean? I'll be taking these $1, $2 lot sizes and shit like that off of my own account. This will not be the FTMO account, but I will use the FTMO account, you know, to maybe um you know, help me get things that I want in life, that materialistic shit that I want in life that I don't necessarily need, you know, like that's free money, so why not take advantage of it and shit, right? So I noticed a few people dropping out, don't necessarily care about that because you guys still need help as traders, and at the end of the day, you know, me talking and you not listening is not bothering me, you know. What bothers me is the fact that people are not looking at the information that's right in front of them. So as boring and as basic as it may seem, it actually in return is not, right? So enough of that. Going ahead with the NU part real quick. So NU, as you can see last week, once again, my fucking entries are damn near spot on sometimes. It's not by coincidence. This is not by, you know, fate. This is literally by sheer hard work, determination, and consistency, right? And persistence. All right. So looking at this, you know, look at this. Bonk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all daily candles last week, you know, were super bullish and shit like that, right? And this one daily candle, right? So they have the elections moved 135 pips. That's literally from our daily, we can call this as our support level now, our daily support, right? From our daily support level all the way back up to our 2019 highs, which we already have marked. What happened last time when we came up here, right? So look at this. 1, 2. This is one rejection on this September 1st, second day of September, right? 18th, and then the 21st of September. And now what we're having is we're looking to see if we can have some more rejections to this upside, right? So if we don't break to the, if we don't have a daily candle close or 4-hour candle close above this, you know, above our zone, then, you know, what we can be anticipating, because this happened previously, right? We can anticipate the fact that this could be a triple top. So it could be not only a triple top, right? Yeah, no. Yeah, it just be a triple top, right? I don't need to look at it more than that. Don't need to be too in depth, right? And as you grow and develop as a trader, you'll realize that you have certain strategies and certain patterns that, you know, work for you. So when you're looking at this from a 4-hour time frame, look at this: rejection, rejection, rejection. You know, so what we're looking for, we're looking to see what's going to happen from this level right here, right? If something happens from that level, we understood what happened, because if we look left, right, resistance, resistance, you know, rejection, rejection, and then we're looking over here, we're having some exhaustion, okay? One other thing I want to note, I did not trade. Actually, I did not take the trade. I didn't post this trade, but last week, you know, because it was so volatile, I actually posted this. If you look at my my bearish bull thing, I posted this last week, and this ran, you know, pretty much literally to the fucking T. There was no stop loss being hit at all. You could have had multiple entries on this position on the day of the election. I believe literally price itself fucking went up like 12,000 pips or so, right? So now the time is running out. I just wanted to spend the time. Let's go back over to the AU side. We'll go ahead and talk about how it is to, you know, do a trading plan real quick, right? So pretty much this is how Forex Fargo developed his trading plan real quick, right? So trading plan, how many pips do you want to catch? Percentage gains per day / week, right? Average stop loss, average how many take profits, risk reward ratio, right? So pretty much these are the questions that you would ask yourself, right? So my Forex Fargo trading plan, I'm not allowed to type, trading plan would look something like this if we're going to follow that guideline, and then I'll leave you guys with this, because this actually could help some of you all. Now, I've been catching 500 pips for well over 500 pips a week consistently for well over, you know, a year and a half now. And this actually, this trading plan kind of helped me, right? So how many pips do I want to catch? I want to catch 500 pips per day, which essentially is 100 pips per week, right? I mean, per day, right? Percentage gains doesn't matter. You know, I'm like not like everyone else. I'm looking for 10%. You know what I mean? So that means like 2% for the fucking day, right? 10% weekly, 2% daily, right? Average stop loss. My average stop loss average between mine is between 15 and 30 pips. 15 and 30 pips. 15 and 30 pips. That's negative, right? Stop loss at 15, 30 pips. How many TPs? I try to do 1 to 4 on average, right? 1 to 4 TPs, and then risk reward. Actually, that should be all one and the same question. 1 to 4 TPs, and that means that my risk reward should be 1 to 4 as well. 1 to 4, right? So essentially what I'll show you, right? So pretty much everyone just screenshot this. I'm actually going to screenshot this real quick so everyone can, you know, get an idea of kind of how I help myself develop a trading plan, right? And I could go a little bit more in depth with that, right? So pretty much actually let's go a little bit more in depth because we have 5 minutes here left, right? So pretty much I want to take 10 to 15 trades per week, right? Take 10 to 15 trades per week. And then that allows me 2 to 3 trades per day. 2 to 3 trades per day, right? Wow. So I want to speak about this real quick. Pretty much this is what helped me. I don't necessarily need this anymore because I've been doing it for so long, but I do have a blackboard that I actually had from, you know, when I first started. I made a post on my IG about me first starting out, and then I made this this board. I won't grab it, but pretty much it has certain things, you know, it has a candlestick cheat sheet. It has, you know, candlestick patterns. It also has, you know, triple top, triple bottoms, you know, trend line patterns and stuff like that as well. You guys can see I don't even try to use the trend lines in my trading as much anymore. I really just try to, you know, make sure that prices, I just try to look at the price action, right? Now, with that being said, because I am a intraday swing trader, you know, what really benefited me in the long run is trading from these weekly levels, right? You know, making sure that I'm trying to get my optimal trading zone, which is why I have these blue eclipse, right? These blue eclipse have helped me tremendously. Yes, like I said, you know, every week is better. Every week is differs, right? So some weeks are better than others, right? But what happens is, you know, at the end of every week, I'm able to reflect. I'm able to dissect over the weekend, spend my time off of social media, you know, readjust, and then, you know, attack for the week ahead, right? So like I said, a lot of these could be wrong, a lot of these could be right, but at least I know what I'm expecting. All right. So I've planned all of my trades ahead that I plan on taking for the week. I understand that, you know, I'm looking at a lot of these are going to be retracements and stuff like that. Is what I'm looking at for retracement trades. And then I'm looking to see, so they counter trend trades, right? And then I'm looking to see if on the overall long term, we can catch the same bullish trends that we had on AU and then, you know, against the US dollar. All right. And the last thing that I actually need to look at is the dollar index. Okay. And this is why. So if we're looking at the dollar index right here, just from a weekly time frame, all right, this is why, you know, price is probably going to boom. Right now, we're looking at the dollar index, and the dollar index is now at like not some all-time lows, but right now we're flirting around the fact that we haven't had these lows since May 2018, and also, you know, of you know, August of 2020, right? So just looking at this from a daily time frame, right? You know, right now we're looking to see if we can have another candle close. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, price even works all the way back down right here, but I am expecting for something like this to happen. And if we're going to have some type of retracement on the dollar index, a lot of these pairs is going to be affected, such as AU, you know, EU, GU, the EU, and inverse correlation with the dollar index is about almost 60% or so. All right, so just understanding this and planning ahead and being able to build as much confluence as possible is once again going to help you in the long run. I don't know where the path thing went, so what we're looking for is just once again just be looking for something like that. And I'm not expecting price to pump all the way up. We're just looking to fill orders, so between right there. So this is what I'm looking for on dollar index. I don't necessarily trade it, but it's important to understand. Actually, we'll move this down here. It's important to understand what is going to happen and what could happen within the market. If you expect this push down, obviously with that push down, me looking at, we move this to a 4 hour. With the push down on dollar index, I'm able to notify and see that, we're going to have this push back up to my level, essentially, right? So, with that being said, I don't have any more time. So take your screenshot. Forex Fargo checking out. Thank you all. I will upload this on YouTube and come catch these pips with me. All right.